Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful in oil country and around the world. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy, who on the occasion of an Edmonton Oilers victory is also doing the game grades. Bruce, congratulations.
Yeah, I've had actually pretty good luck against Calgary. I think I've done all their games but one, and so the Oilers are 5-2, and I'm 4-2 in covering Calgary games. So I'm happy.
It was a big win, and it seemed in doubt, but I started to get a feeling throughout the game, honestly, even though the Flames had 8 grade A chances to the Oilers 6, but I just had a feeling the Oilers were going to win. There just seemed to be really a strong emphasis on the Oilers on defensive play in the game. And we're going to get into that. First, we're going to do our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. And because it's an Oilers victory, we will go with 2 good things each. What's your first good thing?
Yeah, I'm going to single out the big man, Leon Draisaitl, tonight. I thought he had a tremendous 2-way hockey game for the Oilers. And he was, I was particularly enthralled with his defensive play, the commitment and the battle level that he showed on the defensive side of the puck, racing back, for example, to strip Johnny Gaudreau when Gaudreau thought he was cruising into the high slot with time and space on his hand, and all of a sudden Leon took away both those things, and then he took the puck away too. But I just thought he was aggressive on the puck. He was in good positions. He won a lot of battles, and he transitioned the puck, got it, and moved it, and got it going north out of Edmonton's territory time and again, including 2 key zone clearances in the empty net situation in the last minute of play. And oh yeah, he was integral to all 3 Edmonton goals in this game, earning assists on 2 of them, and basically earning a 3rd assist on the other one, where it was a dizzying 4-way passing play from Bear to Draisaitl to Bear to Yamamoto to Cahoon, who put both the puck and himself into the back of the net just to make sure. And it was just a spectacular play, with Leon playing a key role in that one too. Like he was a big part of the transition, and then he made a slick pass back to Bear, and then Bear made a great pass, which I guess we'll probably talk about as well later on. But I just loved Leon's overall game. He had 7 shot attempts, 1 official hit, but I saw more aggression from him than that. He took 1 penalty for getting in the face of one Matthew Tkachuk and not taking his crap, giving it right back to him. They both went to the box. It's all good. And get this, 11-6 in the face-off circle, 65% on a night that all the other Oilers combined were 8 wins, 19 losses. So he was a beacon in the wilderness in the face-off circle. And the team struggled, but Leon was winning the day on his draws. And I just thought he was absolutely central to the game and to the win. One of those face-off wins led directly to the winning goal, of course. So let's add that too. Anyway, I thought he was absolutely central to the win, and terrific. And it was wonderful to see after a couple of pretty iffy games from the big guy.
Good to see him back at center, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the moment that he got into that little skirmish with Tkachuk, huge mistake for Tkachuk. You don't want to wake. It's like he's like the old thing that they used to say about Frank Mahovlich is don't get in his face, get in his grill, or Gordie Howe. Don't wake him up. Mm-hmm. And he poked the bear there, and Draisaitl was a bear this game. He was a grizzly bear up and down the ice. And Bruce, I have often been frustrated with his defensive play, as listeners of this podcast know. And it's because I know that he actually can win the Selke Trophy if he gives it his all like he did this game. He was masterful defensively. He was like a pillar of the high-level bridge in the defensive slot, man. He'll be there 107 years from now, still defending that place. He can be so good, and we've seen him. He comes to mind against Anaheim in the playoffs, where he was this kind of dominating player. And I think in the playoffs, Leon will be this at center. He will be this player. Yeah, I just thought he was extraordinary like you do. And I was gonna, if my good thing was gonna be the defensive play of all the centers, and
Hmm.
Haas had a little bit of trouble. He screened the goalie on the one goal, and
Hmm.
he had a bad line change on a grade A scoring chance against too. But in the defensive slot, McDavid was very strong, and Jujhar Khaira was strong, and Leon Draisaitl was a tower of power. Um, my good thing, Bruce, is Ethan Bear.
Hmm.
Frankly, I don't know why he's not playing on the top pairing right now. He, let me just confirm this. I think he had
Soon
another.
will be.
I think he should be. Um, I think he had another clean sheet on defense here. Yeah, not one major mistake on a grade A chance against, which is starting to become the norm for him.
Hmm.
Handling the puck so very smartly, Bruce. So very
Hmm.
smart. And we saw that, of course, on the goal where he was involved in the second goal. It was kind of that Barcelona goal where they kind of dribbled the puck into the net, with
Hmm.
passing it around and then passed it right into the net. And you hardly ever see that. It's so beautiful when you do, but they had that going on there. What did you wanted to say something?
I was going to say he was chubby on that play.
Yeah,
Barry handled the puck twice in the build-up to the goal. He made the long breakout pass and he busted his butt to get up ice and take the return pass from Leon. And then he saw the guy Yamamoto open wide on right wing, and I thought that second pass from Bear, like the headman pass to Leon was great, but the second one to Yamamoto was off the charts. Like to see him and to deliver that
yeah,
pass,
yeah,
giving him time and space, and they just opened the defense up a crack and they worked the puck
yeah,
right into the net, and he was central to it. Bear was.
yeah. Chabi to Iniesta to
And yes,
Busquets to uh, Lionel Messi, with
yeah.
Dominic Cahoon starring as Lionel Messi. um, Hell of
That
a game
one.
from Dominic Cahoon. Like pretty fired up. He doesn't ever look that inspired because he's not that kind of player, but he did look fairly direct, I would say, in terms of
Hmm.
his play tonight. I mean, Ethan Bear on that play though, like just the savvy. It was like Brad Park. It was like he was as cool as Wayne Gretzky in a Lamborghini cruising down Wayne Gretzky Drive. Just the epitome of cool on that play was Ethan Bear. Um, he just moves the puck when he's on like that. He looks like he could be definitely a top four defenseman in the NHL, and maybe getting into the top pairing and holding his own like he did last year a lot of the time. When he's making smart plays, Bruce, like this,
Yeah. No,
his lack of foot speed doesn't come into play because he's an average skater for an NHL defenseman, but his hockey IQ is so high, and this is what was missing. It's so strangely missing earlier this year, right? When he had been hit in the head and was recovering from that. That's what was missing from the game. His game was that incredible hockey IQ that he has as a player, which I love to see. For a defenseman, it's almost the most valuable quality, and he was exuding it all game
hmm
tonight. And again, I don't know why he's not in a team with Darnell Nurse in the top
it's
pairing.
coming. I think it's coming.
Yeah, better be.
And Barry's been on a big hot roll for a long time, David. But these last three games, he's fallen off a cliff. But we'll talk more about him in a bit.
Yeah, I like Barry's passing of the puck.
Hmm.
He's been a little bit, I don't want to get on the second assist thing, but that's part of it, right? Like there
Well,
has been, he's been getting
you
anyway.
pass the puck to McDavid or Draisaitl, and they set up someone else for a goal. I think passing the puck, getting the puck onto the stick of McDavid and Draisaitl has value, personally.
I love Barry's passing, and I don't want to denigrate his offensive game. I don't think he is the best offensive defenseman in the NHL, though. Like I think he's a very good offensive defenseman.
Hmm.
That's the point I want to make. All right, Bruce, what's your second good thing?
Okay, well, I'm going to go with Jujhar Khaira, whose game I really liked tonight. Playing, down the lineup on a very good, effective line. He played 11 and a half minutes, a little over a minute on the penalty kill successfully, and he was basically 10 minutes at even strength. He led the Oilers, tied for the team lead with three shots, a couple of real heavy shots that he took, not from grade A positions. That line certainly wasn't get creating huge, great chances. But when they were getting the puck near the net, they were firing hard and heavy shots on Jacob Markstrom, and maybe that's they helped soften him up a bit for the eventual winning goal. Who knows? And then he also led the Oilers with 5 hits. But I also more was impressed with his defensive zone play and his zone coverage and his he go hard to the boards, take on the battle, saw off or win the battle, and the Oilers would come away with the puck. And he did that, I thought, on a number of occasions. And just an underrated game. He's nowhere near getting on the score sheet, but I thought he did his job almost as well as could be done. And almost saw it off in the face-off dot. It wasn't him getting clobbered. He was three out of 7.
He was good.
Hmm.
He had a really bad game against Montreal. The whole team did. And I was thinking,
Yep.
oh, like there was some Jujhar Khaira turnovers, the kind of that
Hmm.
haunted his play last season. And I was kind of where I was thinking, we really haven't seen that Jujhar Khaira in a
Let's
long
not.
time. So are we going to see it again? Is that going to like is he going to have shattered confidence? But he came back and he put in a really strong game. And here's my hot take of the day, Bruce. If the Oilers centermen commit to playing defensive hockey like that every single game, this team will win the North Division in the playoffs. If McDavid, Draisaitl, Khaira, and Haas play like they can in the defensive slot and put that first, if they think
Hmm.
more than anything else, that's what they're going to do. Because McDavid and Draisaitl don't have to worry about the attack; it's going to come. But if they put that
Yep.
first and foremost every game in their mind, this is what I'm going to do down there. The
Hmm.
Oilers will win the North Division, and so there you go. My hot take of the day. Bruce, my second good thing was the play of Alex Chason, who is, I think, a bit of a favorite of the cult of hockey, but not in every corner of Oiler
No
fandom
kidding.
is he a favorite. Here's why I like him.
I'm a big fan.
Uh, he's not a fast skater, and he's not a great offensive hockey player, but he can really shoot the puck. He is a great defensive player at even strength.
Hmm.
He's the least likely Oilers winger to make a mistake on a grade A chance against. He's always in his position. He's almost always covering off the point.
Hmm.
He's never letting those point shots get through that will get through. Like the Michael Stone goal there. That's not Jason's mo. That's what other people do, not him. But so there's the even strength play where he does what a depth player should do, which is defend exceptionally well and add a little bit of it on the attack now and then.
Hmm.
His play on the power play though is exceptional, and I there still seems to be to me a lack of recognition
Yeah.
from a number of older fans, which is
He didn't
fine.
get
We
any
can all see
goals
the
or
game
points,
differently. But
David, on the
Bruce, I
power play
just don't
tonight. He
see
had
how
nothing to do with it.
I don't see how they miss it. I don't see how can you miss what Chason does out there because he is. Well, let's just go to the first. Let's go to the 2 goals because it was textbook Chason. The first one, Nugent Hopkins, Barry puts it over to Nuge on the face-off circle, on the left circle, and who Nuge fires it right down to Chason. And Chason immediately,
One
as he's
touch.
done a number of times, hits Draisaitl in the slot immediately. And that was the moment where this thing starts to kick into high gear. Of course, Leon makes an absolutely brilliant pass, and McDavid fires a great shot, and then Nuge follows up with another great shot. But the first truly great play in that sequence was a journeyman hockey player, but with the smarts to know what he's going to do as soon as he gets it. He's got that mapped out. He knows the play, and it's like clockwork. And that's what Alex Chason is like on the power play. Clockwork. Pass the puck, win the puck, move the puck, get in front of the net, screen just in the right spot, get your stick down hard on the ice so when it comes through it doesn't miss your stick. It actually hits your stick and goes in the net maybe. Then on the winning goal off the faceoff, he powers into his man, his defender, and because of that, McDavid's able to gather in the puck and fire it in. So
Yep.
two great, just solid power plays by Alex Chason.
That was Joachim Nordstrom, who I thought had an excellent game for Calgary tonight, and he won a lot of battles. But Chason got the better of him, and that little one, like neither of them touched the puck. But what Chason did by taking on Nordstrom's stick off the draw there was give McDavid the split second that he needed to shoot the puck. and he somehow found a hole. I think it was the 14 hole in Jacob Markstrom, and it slithered through about 2 inches over the goal line, and 4 seconds into the power play. It's a great power
I
play chance, just in the net immediately. It was great.
I think that puck, if you smelled it, it's got Markstrom's deodorant on it because it went right under his armpit. Uh, that was a good one. It was tough because it came through a screen. Giordano
Yeah,
was screening the goalie, and I don't think he
thanks,
got a
man.
good. Yeah, thanks, Jared. Listen,
Geo.
one of the problems with the Flames right now is, let's be honest, it's Gio, and I don't know if they talk about that in Calgary much, but he is not the player he was 2 years ago when he was such a dominant hockey player. He's finally, thankfully, slowed down a little bit. So
He's some good at keeping the puck in at the blue line, though, David. Holy moly, the Oilers are having a hard time firing pucks past him on the point.
yeah,
But he's slowed down a little bit, and my little sort of astronomy joke on his nickname is I call him Mark Geostationary, which is which is a
you're gonna have to explain that, Bruce.
communication satellites have geostationary orbits. They stay stationary relative to the Earth. They orbit once every 24 hours. So from a given point on the ground, as the Earth rotates, it's always pointing toward. That's why you can point your
Are
satellite
they
dish at
going as
one
fast
spot.
as are they going as
Exactly the
fast as the Earth?
speed. Yeah,
They're
they
tracking the speed of
rotate
the Earth.
once every 24 hours around the
Cool.
Earth. They're at the 38,000 kilometer altitude calculated by Arthur C. Clarke, the great science fiction and author of 2001, who said if you put a satellite just the right height, it'll take exactly a day. So relative to a spot on the ground, it stays there. So you take your satellite dish and you point it at the geostationary satellite, and neither of them has to move. So I call him Mark. I call him geostationary just because he took out a couple of Oilers. You know, I've built up a little bit of resentment for Mark over the years. He's caused us much pain between his many talents and his ability to be a little dirty at times or sneaky anyway. So
I think dirty is fair. I think it's a fair comment, Bruce.
anyway, he
I
did a
think
great
it's a
job
fair
of screening
comment.
his goalie on that one. I have to give him credit. That was first rate.
All right, your bad thing, Bruce.
Oh well, I'm going to have to pick on Mr. Tyson Berry tonight, defenseman number 22, who recently I was saying how he's only had three negative games in 26 that he's played with Nurse. Well, he's had three in a row now, -2, -2, -1. And tonight, his big, huge problem was his total inability to get his shots through from the blue line, which he attempted four shots, and all four of them were blocked. But not only that, two of them were blocked by guys that immediately turned the block shot into a breakaway for Calgary. One, I don't know if it's even called a shot attempt to try to get the puck past uh, uh, Goodrow, Johnny B. Goodrow at the attacking blue line, and Goodrow picked that off and scooted past Barry for a partial breakaway. And that was the play. Nurse kind of cut it off, so Goodrow had to shoot from an angle. And then that sneaky, dirty, no good Brett Ritchie cross-checked Barry in the back. Real sneaky play, and he sent Barry careening into Mike Smith. And I
Oh,
thought Smith
yeah.
was hurt. I had visions of Marc-Andre Bergeron, and I was not enjoying that little flashback. Let's put it that way. He had a tough week physically, Tyson Berry. Like he took some physical darts in all three games, and that was the one tonight. Like he fell hard there, and then Mike Smith landed on him. And that's not exactly a small guy. But then in the second period, at the end of the power play, and this situation where, especially a guy who's used to being the quarterback on the power play, has got to know when their time is ticking down. This was a power play that started, it only had a minute when it began because the penalties overlapped. So it was a short power play. And at the end of it, the Oilers had one defenseman and four forwards out on the ice, and the puck came back to Barry. And at that point, I thought you got one job. That's to get the puck deep and let at least one of your wingers change off for another D man, and hopefully get yourself off and change off for another D man and get situation back to normal. But no, he tried to shoot the puck through, and the Flames defender, was it Bennett? Sam Bennett got a piece of that one, and it went to another Calgary guy, and Matthew Tkachuk comes out of the penalty box where he's taking a stupid penalty and he's in the box and you're thinking Oilers might score and make him look bad. Instead, he comes out of the box and Barry turns the puck over and Calgary makes a good pass and Tkachuk has a breakaway and he makes a good move. He's a good player and he put it home to make it 2-1 for Calgary. And I had a bad feeling about the game at that moment when Calgary retook the lead. But it just was a play you just need to be aware. And Smith did slap the ice, which is the universal
Universe.
indication of the penalty being over. And so Barry just had to make a better decision or make a better shot and get it through. Either would have been fine. But and so he had those four block shots, and he shots that were blocked, and um, not being able to get the shot past the first guy that's close to you, that's the one that leads to the dangerous scoring chances against. And that happened to him twice. And he just needs to dial it up a bit in terms of, risk reward is one thing, but when you're talking about high risk, low reward, which is what the Oilers have gotten from Tyson Barrie these last three games, then maybe you got to rethink it a little bit.
Yeah, when you're the defenseman, your number one job when you get that puck back at the blue line is just to get it past the forward. Like that's the fundamental skill. And anything after that is gravy. And if you can get it on net, like that's fantastic. And he often does, to give him credit.
Yeah.
But you got it. The fundamental play, which is, Tyson Barrie doesn't always make the fundamental play, is defensive play, at least is that. So it's kind of it's both an offensive play and you have to be smart about it. There is that defensive aspect to it where you can't give up that breakaway. Yeah, Bruce. I think that Darnell Nurse actually has been struggling a little bit on defense because they're just not getting it done together, and it's affected Nurse's defensive game a little bit. He has been in a bit of defensive slump, although not tonight, as well. And there are two Oilers defensemen who have really struggled defensively this year, and one of them is Tyson Barrie, which I don't think is going to be news to anyone. But Caleb Jones has also really struggled defensively. He's actually made a higher rate of major mistakes on grade A chances against than Barrie, but they're both appreciably higher than any other defenseman on the team, those two guys, which is kind of a problem because if you were to bump Barrie down to the third pairing and put him with Jones, then you'd have these two defensemen who are similarly slick and very, very strong on the attack. They're the two best attacking. They're the two most likely defenders to make a major contribution to a scoring chance for are Jones and Barrie. So if one of them can just seal it down, like calm down in the defensive zone, start to make the fundamental plays consistently, they're going to be in good stead on this team. It would be good if both of them could do it. But I'm thinking that the safe pairing, well, Lagesson hasn't been safe recently, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lagesson Barrie, combination, Bruce. Like if you think about it, the Oilers have two top pairing defensemen, Adam Larsson and Darnell Nurse. They're both top pairing defensemen in the NHL, if you ask me. So if you put Larsson with Russell and then Bear with Nurse, I think you have a fairly solid top four. And then Barrie, and probably it'll be Lagesson, I'm guessing. So.
Yeah, well, Jones, I mean, if he has a similar defensive error rate as Barrie, that's not good because he has nowhere close to the offensive push that Barrie provides. So Jones is, he's not bringing enough offensively to be a gaping hole on the defensive side of the puck. What's he got? 1 point? I mean, obviously he hasn't had a lot of opportunity, but
he does pass very well, Bruce. He does it great on the attack. He's been a little unlucky not to get more points.
Maybe so.
So I think Jones actually contributes quite a bit on the attack, and they're similar players in a lot of ways. They just, Barrie he's playing with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. Jones doesn't get that opportunity that much, but Jones can really move the puck and get it on net from the point, and he makes good plays in the offensive end. He's just struggled like tonight, right? There was that sequence in the third period, a very key moment of the game, and he he was under tough forechecking, but he coughed up the puck
twice.
And twice he did that.
Yeah. Kara made a good play behind the net and got the puck to Jones with looked like room to move it out, and he skated into a trap and kind of lost it along the boards, and then he got it back and he lost it a second time, and Nordstrom took it hard to the net and got a good chance from the not a great angle, but from very close to Smith, he was able to drive it hard into the net. And it was because Jones wasn't able to take care of business and get the puck out or protect it. Anyway, that was his last shift with like 6.5 minutes to go, and he
And
only
Barry
played
played
8:31 on the night. Caleb Jones.
and Barry only played on the power play after that. They put Bear with Nurse at the end of the game and Russell and Larson, and that's how they wound down the game. And it's like I think the Oilers actually have two pretty solid pairings. They have a top four
Mm-hmm.
defense in those four players, and I expect we'll see them quite a bit down the stretch and maybe into the playoffs. Bruce, my bad thing, and I hardly ever single out this player as a bad thing, but tonight there was a couple plays that I didn't like his play at all. Josh Archibald is my bad thing tonight, based on these plays. The first goal, um, where Stone is able to walk the line and for and has all kinds of time to tee up his shot. That's
Mm-hmm.
Archibald's man. He collapsed down into the slot, which maybe that's a good play if you
Mm-hmm.
make it. But if you don't, then the puck goes shooting out to the point. That guy has all kinds of time and space and territory
And screen.
and screens to set up the shot, and bad things tend to happen. So Cassian might have helped out there. He was a little, he's in a bit of a
Yeah.
tough. Cassian's also got to be cognizant that the pass can go to his man, and then his man will
Right.
have all this time and space and move in. So it's not. It's a little, maybe Cassian could have sprawled and made a great play, but Archibald didn't make the fundamental play, which is
Right.
to cover his man and to make sure the defenseman doesn't have that kind of time and space. Bruce, but the next play was, if Dominic Cahoon made this play, he'd be sitting this next
Mm-hmm.
play that I'm going to talk about. He'd be sitting the next game, and if it was Joachim Nygaard, he'd be out for a month, out of the lineup for a month. But it was Archibald, and they like Archibald. But it's as the second period is winding down, and the Oilers have been hemmed in their zone
Mm-hmm.
forever
A
already, and
minute, a full minute.
they finally get it out. It's in Archibald's stick. He has quite a simple play, I believe. He could
Dead
gain the
simple.
red line
Yep.
and pound it in. And that's what Cassian thinks he's going to do. Cassian kind of goes wide, anticipating that. But Archibald decides he's going to make a cross seam pass, cross ice pass to Cassian, and it gets picked off. And it was the hairiest moment of the game because there was two absolutely. Russell
Collision.
blocks the first five alarm chances from the slot. Neither of them hits the net. First blocked by Russell, who goes down, and then he's hurt and he can't get up. Then the puck goes. I can't remember who the shooter is, but Nurse. This is the one where Nurse sprawls and get it on. He tips it with his stick. It's a miracle it didn't go in the net, and that
It
was
was
on.
Oilers killer Elias Lindholm that had the shot from the slot. Somehow Nurse got a stick on. He had a wide open net because Smith had committed on the first one, and then the puck kind of bounced over to Lindholm, and he had it looked like a wide open net. And Nurse, more by good luck than a particularly a thing that it's not like he challenged the shot at point of attack. He just kind of waved a stick in the lane and got a piece of it, and it just grazed by the post. David, I was beside myself when Archibald made that pass. Like I already spent like 45 seconds going, get it out, get the bloody thing out, right? And then they finally get it out, and he's got like 10 feet, maybe 15 feet between him and the red line, and nobody's in it. Like they actually do have they do have good position. It's a 2-on-2, and a normal situation. Yeah, sure, you try and do something with that 2-on-2, but this is a situation where his mates have all been in the zone, including himself, for a full minute. Chris Russell has been out for 2 minutes because he was on the previous pairing with Larson. And in second period, long change. He never made it to the bench. So Russell was already in lactic acid mode when he made that great shot block. And at that point, Archibald you have one job. Is that saying you have one job? The one job is you get it to center, you dump it in the corner, and you get your own ass to the bench, and you give all your other teammates, or most of them at least, a chance to get theirs there as well. And you send out fresh troops. And to try a cross ice passer, I mean, the Calgary defenseman, he made an aggressive tough, good play to step up and pick that pass off and bring it back in. And that's when the real hair-raising stuff happened. As you say, that'll be an uncomfortable couple of minutes for Archibald in the what they used to call the film room. I don't know how they do it these days, but I'm pretty sure that sequence is probably going to show up on his tablet when he's reviewing his own game shifts. He won't be feeling good about it, and he shouldn't.
Maybe his brain was scorched too from being so tired, and he just had a
Well, yeah,
brain
but
blip. But
the veteran pros, this is where you have to know how to manage a situation, lactic acid and all that. For that 1 or 2 seconds when the puck's on your stick, you have to absolutely not fool around. You got to, do the safe thing and allow your mates to get the hell off the ice. And he really didn't. That was brutal.
but the funny thing is, a month from now, we'll all remember the Cahoon turnover because it ended in a goal against. But this
Yep.
we will forget because it didn't, because it ended in a great play. And so there's just not the same amount
Yeah.
of
No, you're right.
negative feeling about it as there would, like if there
Goalie
had been a
makes the
goal.
save, then it's all good. Yeah.
Tippett would be asked about it in his press conference tonight. I bet you he won't be asked about that play. Maybe I'm wrong, but I bet you that won't, or that turnover won't come up. But if there had been a goal against, that turnover probably would come up, you'd think. But yeah, he's a useful hockey player, Josh Archibald. But those, he can be. His defense is strong, but he can make mental errors, just like any other defenseman. Like I like Chase on, like in the defensive zone, I'll take Chase on over him all the time, all game long. I think he's a better defender. But for the full up and down the ice, and all the energy Archibald brings, they get to be comparable players for
But I'll tell
in
you,
that way.
Dave Tippett loves Archibald and he trusts him. In
I
the
know.
last minute of this game, his forward line was McDavid, Draisaitl, and Archibald.
Yeah, I'd have Chase
You
on,
know, so
like personally, like if it was me and Haas and probably
yeah,
Draisaitl.
it
I don't
worked.
mind
They
having
when they got the
McDavid out
puck
there.
out, and Archibald went for the empty net, and the Calgary guy deflected his shot, and they wound up having to kill the game right to the last second. But they got it
Archibald
done.
can, yeah, he can play strong defensive hockey too. Like he's not he's not a liability, that's for sure. He's a good defensive player. Bruce, what's your number?
I'm going to go with the number 12, 1 dozen, which is the number of points separating Edmonton Oilers from Calgary Flames in the standings as we speak. Edmonton 38 games, 47 points. Calgary 38 games, 35 points. And with 18 games to play, that is just a massive gulf between Edmonton and Calgary. I would say the chances of Calgary overtaking that deficit is very tiny at this point in time. Very tiny. And so by winning yet another game in regulation against Calgary, their fifth one this year, they're putting a stake through Calgary's heart because not only are they gaining 2 more points on them, it's going to take Calgary one game to get the 2 points back, and then another game to try and gain some of the ground that they needed to gain. And when they keep losing in these head-to-heads, which is now 5-2 for Edmonton on the season series, where Calgary won the first game and then Edmonton's won 5 out of the last 6. We turn that around. Calgary wins 5-2 over Edmonton. They're tied in the standings right now. But because Edmonton has been strong in the season series and won, well, 2 blowouts and 3 one-goal regulation wins. So 2-1, 3-2, and 3-2. And the last time Calgary was here, it was the same thing. It was tied 2-2 down the stretch in the third period. And McDavid got the goal that decided that one as well, and Edmonton won 3-2 in regulation.
Yeah, there's all this talk about Calgary like having maybe trouble in the room, the old trouble in the room. Maybe someone makes jokes that are too nasty at everybody else's expense. I'm not sure what it is, Bruce. But then there's the other one, like, well,
Make
they
stuff
don't
up
play
and
big,
what we
they don't
think.
play big games, and uh, but I just don't think they're that good. I think it comes down to that. Like this is what I see with the team. They're just not that good. Um, they they're good players, aren't as good as the really good players on the other Canadian teams, and their top four defense is just okay, but they really miss TJ Brody, who's always so dependable, moving the puck.
Mm-hmm.
getting the puck going, moving the puck. Yeah, this is the kind of player I'm hoping Ethan Bear becomes, regularly. That kind of just so solid, moving the puck, moving the puck, defending, fundamentally sound. And that's what they had in him, and they decided to go in a different direction, or he did. So yeah, I just don't think they're. I think the obvious answer is why aren't the Flames winning? Because they're just not that good a team. They don't have the talent that the other teams have, and I don't see it as a matter of heart or will, or I see a team that plays hard actually, but
I
I
thought
just don't.
they played a pretty
Yeah,
good game tonight, Calgary.
they did. In fact, they outchanced the Oilers 8-6, as we said.
They didn't get the save they needed when it was 2-2. Thought that game winner was a little bit weak on Markstrom's part, and the difference in puck handling between the two, I think, was it Louis DeBrusque or maybe it was Rob Brown in the post game. One of the on-air personalities talked about the vast gulf between. I think it was Robbie Brown between uh, Mike Smith and Markstrom's puck
Oh,
handling, and he
jeez.
said Markstrom looked like a junior B. He almost gave Yamamoto a free gift
Yeah.
with a terrible pass off the end boards. Yeah, I think if Yamo realized he had an extra split second there, he could have tried to tuck it home himself. Anyway, it was the game-winning goal. I mean, shot went through his armpit, as you say, and just dribbled through. And
Koskinen's a better puck mover than Markstrom.
oh,
And Koskinen's not very good. Markstrom really is terrible at it. Like it's a true liability. Like it's
mm-hmm.
it's just a real negative. I'm just happy every time I see him go out to play the puck. I'm thinking, okay, good, because it's just nothing good is gonna come for the Flames from this. So, but he can stop the puck usually. Like
Usually.
he's a pretty good puck stopper. I'll give him that. Bruce, my number is just a quick look at the Oilers' contributions uh, per 2 minute power play, major contributions to grade A scoring chances, which we measure. And it's going to highlight a point I made earlier about Chason. He's actually pretty much tied with Leon Draisaitl for second on the team in terms of these major contributions to grade A chances. So these can be either passes into the slot or passes in the slot or the shot itself that's the grade A scoring chance shot. Those are the most obvious things. And obviously Leon Draisaitl does that a lot more than Alex Chason. But what
Or
Chason does
Iceland.
more than anyone on the team is he screens the goalie and screens the goalie very well. And he wins battles both in the corner to ignite plays and in front of the net to get that puck moving in the right direction. And he's often there,
Keep the
right in the
rebound alive.
thick of things. So McDavid leads the team. He's got 0.91 per 2 minute power play. I do it on a per two basis, so
Right. Mm-hmm.
0.91. McDavid or Draisaitl's next 0.77, then Chase on 0.76,
Mm-hmm.
Puljujärvi 0.64, and RNH 0.49.
Wow.
Tyson Bear 0.31. So Chase on is
Hmm.
Puljujärvi's doing pretty well. He's I can see an argument that one day that guy could be a bit of a monster of the midway on the power play in front of the net like an octopus reaching out here and there to tap in goals and screen the goalie. There's nothing wrong with Puljujärvi on the power play, but there's just everything right about Chason. And I would not want to see him traded at the deadline. I think the Oilers' best chance of winning in the playoffs is with Chason as a huge part of that power play. I just think he causes such havoc down there that they can't ignore him, and that opens up all of those passing lanes for the rest of his team. And when he gets the puck, he usually makes a really good play with it, moving it quickly to someone who knows better what to do with it than he, and he understands that, and he does that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, his job is on the uh, continuations after the first shot's been attempted and the puck goes in the corner or there's a rebound in front, is just to bust his butt to the puck and try to at least saw it off because he knows he's got one more guy to get it than the other team does. But quite often he wins it outright. But he's very good on those second puck recoveries to keep the cycle alive or to restart the cycle, depending how you want to phrase it. But he's really good at that, and he's I made the comparison before that the quarterback on the power play plays the point, and the guy in the net front is more in the tight end role. And there's two types of tight end. There's a blocking tight end, and there's a pass catching tight end. And Chason is very much more in the blocking tight end, but they run the ball to his side, because he's so good at it. And every once in a while, he gets into the offensive flow and the puck comes to him. But by and large, he's doing the underappreciated job away from the puck and frankly away from the eyes of the people watching the power play because he is, I think, very underappreciated for what he brings to the table on that unit.
He's the Riley Odoms of the Edmonton Oilers. And if you know who that is, Bruce, that's a very obscure 1970s sports reference. He was the tight end on the Denver Broncos,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a very good tight end, and he was known for his blocking.
Right.
He was that kind of old
Mm-hmm.
school tight end that you saw more often actually in the
Right.
1970s when it was more of a running trench warfare kind of game in the NFL.
Yeah, he's not Gronk. He's more in the trenches kind of guy, and then the odd time he'll chip in with a key catch on third and short, or whatever. But he's I think I watch him pretty closely because of course I'm a goalie guy, so I'm always watching what the other goalie's doing. Usually, what the other goalie's trying to do is see around Jason because he's right in his face.
Yeah. And again, yes, Pugliarvi should just watch videotape of how
Mm-hmm.
that guy plays the power play
Mm-hmm.
and do that. Do
Yeah, he's
exactly what he
coming.
does.
Yes, he's making real good progress in that role.
Yeah.
He's vying for time on the power play, but
Well, he's taken over from Neil, right? Like the
right.
so that's good. Although they're more inclined to stick longer with Chase on, I think. Pugliarvi's future on the power play could also be, in theory, on the left half wall as a right shot on his off wing there, like Yamamoto and Pugliarvi. Now that's Nugent Hopkins is there right now, and Nuge is very good there. But they might decide in the end one day to go with a right shot off wing shooter there. So and Pugliarvi might be that guy as well. But I'm not
Speaking of
sure.
Nuge, though, a big shout out for his first goal tonight that tied the game at 1-1 after Markstrom had made a terrific save off of
Oh
the
yeah,
the setup from Chase on to Draisaitl to McDavid. And Draisaitl half won the battle in front where the Calgary guy looked like he was going to clear it. And Draisaitl got his big oak tree in there and got a piece of it and it went over to Nuge. And he didn't have a lot of time. And usually when he doesn't have time, he doesn't get the job done. He needs a second to let fly. But on the backhand side, and there are some players in the NHL that wouldn't even try to shoot from there. They just pass it to someone on their forehand. But he buried it just inside the post before Markstrom got over there. And that was a slick finish by Nugent Hopkins. Very good to see.
fantastic play by Nuge. Like it was just a great goal. All right, Bruce. I think we can leave it there and let you get to work on your game grades.
All right. A lot funner to write them after a win, I can tell you that.
And we got a game, no games this weekend, but a
No
game
game
Monday, right?
tomorrow. It's been postponed. And then they play in back to Montreal on Monday. This is I'm 100% sure I'm right in this. This is the first time in the history of the Edmonton Oilers that they played consecutive games in Montreal, in Edmonton, and then in Montreal. Sounds like a playoff series, but it'll be their fourth trip to Montreal for their third game there. Remember when they're going to stack up all these extra games on single trips? Well, that sure went sideways when the triple header got canceled, and now they're making it up a game here and there. And
We'll see tomorrow if they make any line changes or lineup changes. I thought the Draisaitl line was fantastic tonight.
mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
still not loving the McDavid RNH Pugliarvi line at even strength. I just don't see hasn't worked all year, Bruce, that well, and I'm still doubtful. But maybe they'll get it right. Maybe they'll take off one of these games.
I didn't see Yester that good tonight, but
Oh
he's
yeah,
he's been mostly good. But I didn't think he was particularly strong tonight.
yeah. He probably got the old stink eye from Connor McDavid on the bench
On the
after missing
on
him
the
on that
weak
breakaway
pass
pass.
where
Yeah,
he babied
or
one into his feet. Yeah.
ooh, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. But he did hit him a second
Yeah,
later.
they kind of got a second lesser opportunity on a decent recovery, but the the easy play would have resulted in a breakaway for McDavid, which is kind of the optimum play
Well,
that you're hoping for.
that's the kind of pass I would make in my Div 500 hockey, right? Off the back of someone's skate. All right, Bruce, thanks for talking tonight.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.